Okie dokie. So, black people and critical thinking or lack thereof. This has. I was meant to. Well, I say I was meant to. I did consider doing a live stream a few weeks back when I first saw this thing come out, but I'm glad that I waited in the sense where another video was, had come out and then that got magically taken down. And for those that don't know, I mean, I'm not going to even say the woman's name on the channel. You can see it here on the screen. There you go. That's the YouTube channel. I'm still subscribed to her, but now I'm doing it so I can keep up with the nonsense that I'm seeing. But initially, I was subscribed to this channel because she reported, news, and it was kind of, short and sweet, get what you need, and off you go kind of thing. So, what I started noticing with this particular channel is the titles became more clickbait, or stuff was just kind of misspelled and everything seemed kind of rushed and almost like she didn't know what she was talking about or what she was putting out there. So I would kind of put it down to, oh, well, maybe she has some kind of team and they're not that great, the amateurs and this, that, and the other. But I thought, nah, after a while, if you're claiming to be this, really big online TV platform news type of thing, you should kind of have all your ducks in a row. So anyway, I ignore that, and then I start seeing all these videos talking about prophetic updates and all this kind of madness. And again, I'm trying not to see it, but at the same time, I'm starting to see that things aren't making sense. So now with this pandemic breakout, the first thing I saw, I wasn't able to get the screenshot because it just entails me having to go through a lot of old posts. But she had done a video, and the title, and I'm gonna paraphrase, was basically like a black woman dies of, Rona because she wasn't a priority. And this is a story that came out of the UK. And I think at the time, was I abroad? I think I was still abroad at the time. I got stranded abroad. But um yeah, I seen that and I thought, well, how are you gonna say something like that? And you see, this is something that I find very, very irritating with this so-called woke type of people, where they use certain trigger words and they term things in such a way to get people emotional and not to think critically about the situation. So when I saw it, um, I had to think, well, okay, this person is obviously not in the UK and they're not understanding that the NHS, the National Health Service, has been, struggling for quite a while anyway with the staffing issues, doctors, nurses, and things like that. And then you've got, this now pandemic that's taken a toll on the social health system, and they have to prioritize things because you've got a growing elderly population that are getting into hospitals, and they need to prioritize these people. Now, it was made clear to me from when I was abroad back in March, yeah, March, that people are going to be basically taken to a hospital if you're on your last legs with this thing, if you actually have it. So it's like, why would you insinuate that this black woman was just completely neglected because she's black? That wasn't the case. If you're not on your last legs, 999, the ambulance service, are not going to come for you unless you're on your last legs. So she's putting out that clickbait. And when you read the comments of her videos, you're going to see that people get all up in their feelings and they start, coming out with all this conspiracy. And it's really, really emotional. And then it made me think, we really lack critical thinking. People lack a lot of critical thinking. Instead of actually listening to what's being said and looking into it or asking questions, it's automatically watch the video, see the title, get enraged, and go ham in the comment section. So for someone in the UK, I thought, well, this is nonsense. What she's saying is a bunch of crap. People, it's not that they're just saying, oh, we're not treating black people because they're not priorities. No, the health system is already under strain pre-coronavirus, and now that this thing is taking effect, It's making it that bit harder for the people that work in the National Health Service to help people. So they have to prioritize people in a certain way. So now you can see here on the screen, this was like on the timeline feed or whatever when you log into YouTube on the homepage, and this is like her community feed. So when I'm seeing stuff like this, I'm thinking, how irresponsible. If this is what you believe, because you see, I came to this for news. This was supposed to be some kind of a news platform, but if you're going to do something like this, and if you genuinely believe this, would you not have this on a different channel so you can separate your conspiracy tinfoil news from actual genuine news? But anyway, as you can see here, meteorite hits Nigeria, destroys 100 plus houses, wake up Africa. So I'm thinking a meteorite really. So only you can confirm that a meteorite has hit Nigeria. Okay, that's fine. I look at the video, there are no facts. You didn't present anything where you can actually see it for yourself and go and look it up. So what did I do? I looked it up, and again, I'm not gonna bring it up on the screen because I just really can't be bothered. This was all impromptu. You can look it up, and I think it's Pulse Nigeria reported that this was some kind of vehicle explosion, something to do with some sort of bombs or something that were being transported and it detonated. Nowhere else am I seeing anywhere saying meteorite. Now, if you look into the comments, let me see. Actually, hold on. Let me make sure that I'm looking at all the. Here we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share this next one. Yeah, 671. Okay, give me 2 seconds. I think this is the one. Right. So looking at the comments, I mean, it's just I'm not even going to read these because I just feel stupid reading it. Oh, guys, let me know in the chat if you can see it clearly, because I really don't want to have to read this. But yeah, the disinformation that she's putting out on the NHS is ridiculous. Them people are working hard. Say what you want, but the National Health Service are working really hard to try and help people, and she's putting it out there as if black people are just being ditched and abandoned by the health service, which isn't the case. But you see, because she knows how to manipulate people, and it's not just her, because it's a bunch of all these other people. Once they throw words like black into the sentence, this is what gets people emotional. They stop thinking. That's all they do, and all it is to get you emotional. And it made me think, like, when they're talking about these so-called Russian bots that are apparently running these fake pages, and they putting out fake stuff to rile black people up. It's because they know that we don't think critically for the most part. I'm gonna say we just for the sake, but I don't class myself as someone that doesn't think critically. I have to question it. I have to look at it and say, okay, well, this is what you say, but right, but where's the proof? Show me where it says that and how this conclusion is drawn. I'm just not going to believe you because you say so, because you're black, because things don't work like that. 9 times out of 10, you're trying to trust your own people and they're screwing you anyways, but that's a whole nother thing. But it is way too emotional, this type of thing. But you can see these weird sorts of comments. People talk about Planet X and asteroids scheduled for the 29th this month. I mean, what is this? It's a bunch of crap. So I think, was it same day or maybe the day after? I can't remember. I see down here footage of meteorite hit in Nigeria. But hold on, let me see if I can actually bring up the just so I can make sure that everyone can see and it's not just me making it up. Oh, here we go. Copy link. When I went to go and click on the video to see it, because I'm thinking, oh, she has actual proof that this meteorite hit. Okay, let me see it. This is what came up. Video unavailable. And nothing's come up since. I haven't seen anything on it. I've been keeping my eyes, trying to make sure, see if this thing ever comes up again, if she ever discusses it. And she doesn't discuss it. But somehow, if you had the proof and then you taken it down, maybe you realize it was false, you still got this other video that's up talking a bunch of crap about a meteorite that's hitting Nigeria with zero proof. and insinuating that, this is some kind of conspiracy and that NASA didn't say anything, and then they just left this meteorite to hit Nigeria. I mean, what does anyone gain out of Nigeria getting hit by a meteorite? This just does not make sense whatsoever. Doesn't make sense. But, again, because we don't think and because we don't question, and you'll see it in some of the comments that you'll see in a minute, we are just going with anything because someone, has a resemblance to us. We're just going to trust their word over someone that may be more qualified, or someone that has, a better way of explaining stuff and that can actually show you more evidence and more proof of something that they're saying. So let me bring up these comments. Yeah, the comments are insane. Absolutely insane comments that you'll be seeing. Hold on. Bring these things up. It's just it's embarrassing because it's like, are we really? I don't like to say that we're stupid people because we're really not stupid. But it's like, this is why people are able to get over on us, because we just go with anything that sounds good. If it sounds nice, it's got a juicy story, or this very something very fantastic. But anything with proof or facts, we just don't want to know about it. If it hasn't got some kind of conspiracy behind it, some kind of juicy plot, we don't want to know. Everything has to be, oh, these people are coming to get us. The white man is this, and we can't trust anything that we read, and science is fake, and the earth is flat, and all this, that, and the other. The NHS, oh, they're trying to do this to us, they're trying to kill us, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that. But at the end of the day, if you catch coronavirus or anything else, who are you looking for first to get treatment? The doctors. You get cancer, who are you looking for? The doctors. I mean, it is what it is. You catch a heart attack, you're not calling your herbalist to come and get you. You're dialing 911 or 999, depending on where you are, and seeking help from paramedics. You see, now the difference between them and your average quack herbalist, I don't say that all of them are nonsense, but I just don't trust a lot of these people with the claims that they make because of the lack of proof. The paramedic can show you why something is the way that it is and why they do what they do and what it does to help. Now, I'm not saying that it's absolutely perfect and it's always going to work. No. But they can actually show you better than they can tell you. These people can't show you anything and make these crazy claims. So let me one other comment up here to screenshot this. So you've got like a whole list. You've got, don't believe NASA, take matter into your own hands. Someone's quoting Cannabis, and if you listen to Cannabis, he uses big words, but again, it's all on this conspiracy. The whole world's out to get us. Aliens are gonna eat our brains, this, that, and the other. It's just a bunch of conspiracy stuff with no actual proof to back it, which is a problem. We like to tout ourselves as scholars and smart people, but we don't like to do the scientific method of reviewing things, checking evidence, making sure that things actually balance, testing stuff. Instead, we're gonna go with, didn't make it rappers as proof of meteors. I mean, you can just see the types of comments that you're getting here. But then at the bottom, you've got someone actually asking the question, okay, so where is the rock? And what you'll find is, I'm probably not going to link, I'm not going to link the video. You can go and find it yourself on her channel. But what you'll notice is like it's few and far between. You'll find a commenter actually asking a genuine, serious question and like questioning the narrative. that she's giving, you've got people there that are saying, hang on, that's false news, that's not real. Here's what actually happened. And you're either going to get people arguing with them, and even the arguments just literally do not make sense, or the comment is suppressed. It's not really, people aren't paying it any attention, but all the crazy comments with the conspiracies and this, that, and the other is going to happen is one that's getting all the attention. And she's also either pinning them onto the comments, or she's doing like that, create a like or love button, whatever that is. So to me, it's like, okay, so you're encouraging lack of critical thinking. You're just encouraging these people to not think and to believe everything that you say, even though you make simple, basic mistakes, even when it comes to your reporting. But okay, that's cool. If that's what you're gonna do. Let me get the rest of these comments. I think I tiraded a bit too much earlier. I was supposed to tirade, but I just don't have the energy anymore, honestly, because it's really tiring, and it's sad to see the lack of critical thinking that we have. He's got this guy who says that he doesn't. I think he said somewhere he doesn't believe in space. So, uh, let's see. I'm sure there's no rock found there. Maybe gone already. Yeah, like always. No damn rock, bro. Don't mind these foolish people saying Jack. I don't know what that says. Simply meteorite do not exist. They've lied to us since we were born, bro. Then someone says meteorites are most likely electrical phenomena. No rocks will be found if there was actually a meteor. Then you've got someone say, okay, so it comes from nowhere in space, like we were taught. So if it's electrical, could be produced by our Earth. To be honest, I don't believe space exists. If space exists, is not like they've taught us in schools. That's my opinion. And it's just like, are you serious? Space doesn't exist. Okay, all right, space doesn't exist. Um, I mean, I don't even know what to even say to that. Like, what, space doesn't exist, and that's just your opinion. I mean, if you're just gonna deny like basic facts, then okay, cool. But this is a type of people that her channel attracts, and it's really, really sad to see that no one does any sort of critical thinking, or very few and far between people do. And then I'm just not even gonna read this, but this is just really pathetic. I don't know. I really, really don't know what to say. I mean, are we that dumb? Are we literally that dumb? I just don't understand it. Are we as black people that stupid that we just can't sit there and ask critical questions? Or are we so what's the word? I don't even know what the word is. Like, this whole logic or illogic of, because white people have done this, you just cannot trust literally anything that they say. But if someone who looks like you says something, you have to take that on face value. Like, what kind? I don't understand the kind of logic in that. That literally doesn't make any sense. Now, be careful of who you listen to and who you trust. Yeah, okay, cool, but you can't be like, listen to every black person because what they tell you is true, or because they're black they're right, because they use the word melanin they're right, because Egypt they're right. Like, this is just stupid, stupid illogic that doesn't make sense, that doesn't encourage critical thinking, that doesn't make us question. And this is why other people are able to get one over on us every single time, because we don't think critically, and we never think for the future. We think on the short term. And that's why when stuff, just starts sort of popping up, we're like, oh my God, how do we deal with this? This has just come out of nowhere. For instance, Caribbean countries, in all my past videos, I've, gone on my tirades about them. But now you look at it, COVID-19, tourism is affected. A lot of these countries rely on tourism as, most of their money coming in. Now what? Your borders are shut. Tourism from where? Because you weren't thinking down the line like that. You see, we just kind of fall into whatever seems easy and simple to grasp, and go along with it, and we don't think anything properly. Yeah, I saw one video she did, and it was like uh former UK PM either endorses or like indicates new world order, one world government. And then when I looked at the thing, I'm like, he didn't say anything like that. He said something along the lines of a targeted effort to combat coronavirus. Like, I don't understand how you draw one world government from that. But I've also seen where she's talked about like UK military becoming all robots by X amount. I think by they said like by 2030 or something like that, or half of them are going to be robots. But then her source of news is the Daily Mail. So to me, that's just questionable. Like you're just literally picking any kind of headline, running with it, and then you're taking it to black people and saying, you see, I told you, this is what they're doing, this is what they're doing. The robots and she's believing in clones now. She's got the clones conspiracy. I mean, seriously, are we this stupid? Like, are we this dumb? I'm not saying that all of this is false. I don't know it, but at the end of the day, the burden of proof is on her to actually show you, instead of doing what mainstream media does, mainstream news is doing, and coming up to us and saying this is what's going on. And we always like to complain that, oh, this is indoctrination, and they don't even show us proof, they just tell us a story and they just expect us to believe it. And most people do. You've got this one now that's kind of professing to be different and to really show the truth, and she just does the same thing as a Fox News, a Sky News, a BBC News, Al Jazeera, even a Russia Today, whatever you want to name it. She's doing the exact same thing, but because her face, looks like ours, we don't see anything wrong with it. I'll put the link in if anyone wants to come on, but I mean, it's just really irritating. Honestly, it does irritate me, and it makes me question our intelligence. I hate to do it because we're not, like I said, we're not stupid. I don't think that black people are stupid, but we just have this thing about not wanting to think critically. We just want to believe everything. We never want to think. We never want to question. We never want to sit down and actually, reason things out, be rational. Everything is a story. And that's not, I mean, it's not healthy. Common sense, which, well, they say that lacks as well. But, I would think that that's like a basic human instinct of critically thinking in order to survive, in the environment. Before you do anything, you should be able to judge it first, objectively, rationalize it. So if something is good for you, or if it's not good for you, and how it can benefit you. And we just don't seem to do it. I don't know. But the comments to me were just shocking. Let me see if I've got any other stuff. I took a bunch of screenshots, but oh, hang on, there is more. Hold on. Now this is some stuff that I saw on Facebook, which got right under my skin. And again, it just makes you think like, who the, the thing is, the way that this was posted, the context that it was posted as if it was real. So people are, saying like, oh, look, you see, this is real. You see, this is what they're hiding. They're hiding this from us. Believe this Facebook post. And no one questioned anything. All you see is a bunch of likes and people in the comments saying, yeah, this is real, and they're quoting stuff. It's just like, what is this? Like, nobody, I didn't see not one person ask for proof or a source of it. It's just some. I mean, this could be Photoshop for all we know. It doesn't look genuine. This is looking like somebody's got a picture of Nostradamus, cut it out, stuck it on a piece of paper, and had some print underneath it. And this is all speculation. There's zero proof of any of this, but yet it's black people sharing it with other black people, and others are going, yeah, 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 this is right, this is right. Why? Because another black person shared it, and because it's different, it's alternative, it's not what you're used to hearing. Not because there's any proof of what's being stated, but because of who the messenger is and the message. Another one which just completely confuses me. Pardon me. I mean, the first line should tell you Hitler said even in his death that he will start World War III. And Hitler, it's not like Hitler was captured and before they executed him via firing squad, he said anything. He made like a final statement, or he gave some final statement before. I mean, he killed himself. He shot himself in the mouth. So unless he had a whole group of people around him, or Ava Braun is really alive and was giving out the secret message of him starting World War III, like, this stuff just does not. It's not historically accurate, and there is a lot of spelling mistakes in this. But again, this was being shared as fact. The context that it was being shared was as if it was real, as if this is some obscure hidden information that they don't want you to know about, and it has to be shared through Facebook with horrible spelling mistakes. Let me zoom into it. And the irony of this tagline, which is true, people don't read, and that's why critical thinking isn't our strong suit. It seems because people don't read, they don't know history, basic stuff, and it's sad. I mean, you can see it here: Freemasons, Illuminati, the Jews, and if America wins the war, they will conquer the world and forever be a slave to the Jews and will try to conquer God. Now, Hitler was an atheist, so why would Hitler be concerned about something like this? Doesn't make sense. Do you know who America has in its possession? No, the Solidar. Really? The Solidar? Not soldier? Solidar? The Americans has the Americans has the jewels. Not have the Americans have the jewels. America has the jewels of God. The Americans have stolen God's precious jewels. What do you mean his precious jewels? The Solidar asked. Hitler said America has stolen the Jews. The Jews of God, his jewelry, the Negroes, they are the true Hebrews. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is nonsense. Historically off, one, factually off, but yet this is being shared as if it's true. And you can believe whatever you want to believe, that's absolutely fine. But if you're going to share something as proof and as fact, you have to show it. You can't post this and then expect me to like it and to agree with it because you posted it and because you're black. And then if someone counters that, they're the issue. Why are you questioning me? Just believe it. Doesn't work like that. You can't believe everything that you're told. So that just makes you a fool. Anyone that can tell you anything, they can see that you're an idiot. Yeah, it makes you question who typed it. I don't know what to say. I mean, Mumbi is just shameful. Really shameful because it's a shame. I liked her channel. She didn't post this, but I liked her channel for the news. But all the rest of this is the end of the world. I think like one day she was like, "Oh, it's not the end of the world," And then she's like, it's the end of the world. And that's the economic collapse, prophetic update. Then she's like saying everyone should just like start moving together again with their families. Like this is not realistic. You're not speaking realistically. Then you're talking about, the people are they're trying to kill us, and meteorites hit Nigeria, and the NHS are just, neglecting black people, trying to generate a response, which is untrue. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't think that she really knows what she's even talking about half the time. Like she just sees, she sees, headlines and runs with them. She doesn't check anything critically. She doesn't do any kind of research before. I remember that one with the whole the army is gonna have robots. She had a picture of Terminator as if that's going to be representative of the Ministry of Defense in the UK. I mean, this is just ridiculous. And I know I'm sounding repetitive and saying the same thing again, but I mean it really is. I don't really know what else to say on it. I put the link out there in the chat if anyone wants to jump on. If no one wants to jump on, I can just end it. But it is embarrassing. It's super duper embarrassing. And that's why I just had to take a huge step back from YouTube, and I can't be associated with any of this kind of stuff. I have my own little channel, and I'm not saying that I'm on these people's level or anything like that. But I don't want people to come to my channel and think, oh, you're like one of them sorts of people. That, oh, you believe in this, or you're a Hotep and you believe in the pyramids and all this stuff. Nah. If you're just telling me to believe something, you have to question stuff, because anyone can lie to you for whatever they feel they can gain. This she is saying she's the same. Oh, she's the same woman that pushed that QAnon MAGA crap when she first. What is this QAnon MAGA? Can you explain that? Yeah, Michael, you're right. It is like what Phil does. All these people do is take stories and get people in their feelings and their emotions. And they say when you're in your feelings and when you're in your emotions, you can't think properly. You can't rationalize because you're so caught up in your feelings. And it's when things calm down is when you can finally sort of say, okay, yeah, now I can think about it. And by then it might be too late because you might have acted on something that you shouldn't. Basically, pro-Trump conspiracy theories from Trump supporters, the awakening. Okay, yeah, I'm not surprised. He probably thought that Donald Trump was like some kind of savior of some sort, or he's like someone that was prophesied and is gonna fight against, the whoever's. It's crazy. It's crazy. I hate to see it. I really do hate to see it. But then, if you ask a question, you get attacked. People are starting to cut into you as if you're doing something wrong for asking a question. I don't know what to say. She actually pushed Messiah Trump when he cut foreign aid on. I think I remember that actually. So let me have a look. Hold on. I think I remember that. Let's have a look. I think I remember seeing something like that. Almost like a see, he's like doing whatever he's doing is actually good for us. So he's really doing something great, kind of thing. If I remember correctly, you've got a planned economic apocalypse is coming. Uh, Here we go. 1/4 of British Army to be robots by 2013. You've got, Terminator picture there. one world government. Right, I typed in Trump, so I'm not sure why every single video is like coming up. I watched it was like well, I tried watching anyway because the person's connection was so bad. It was like every 2 seconds it was literally buffering, and you could barely get out a word of what they were saying, and then they would repeat like the same sort of word like 3 times. But I was watching this person who was a so-called researcher talking about some evil. You have the good versus the evil Jewish people conspiracy theory and on controlling the world, and the good ones want everyone to remain, but the bad ones want to wipe everyone out, and it's like a fight, and there's no proof. There's no proof of anything. It's just talk. I saw one of his lives, and Phil said, "I hate that they call us colored, but anyway, black people are colored, black, whatever. I mean, to me, as long as you just don't call me the N word, I'm not too fussed. But yeah, I mean, it's the hypocrisy right there, honestly. But it's people like that, these clickbaiters, as long as they get you clicking on their channel and they're monetized, they don't really care. As long as they can push something up. If it's a slow news day, they might be coming back with some old fake news. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I do not know what to say. This might be my last YouTube video. I don't know how. Um. Oh yeah. Yeah. Sunrise, Scam Rise, Gums Rise, Black Gums Rise. Crazy channel. I don't know if you've done any research into her, but there's a video on YouTube with some. You see, what I've noticed, she goes on these weird white guy platforms, and I'm not even too sure what their channels are about. 9 times out of 10, it's not like a consistent or coherent sort of theme to the thing. But she was on some German guy's channel talking about they. To me, it sounds like she was saying that she had tapeworms and she didn't want to admit it. So she was talking about, hi Hans, yeah, I need you to get the message out to the people because they put something in my brain, and it's like I'm passing out a wiry substance, and it's a synthetic parasite and an organic parasite that they put in my brain. And I went to see the doctor at the shelter, and I'm thinking, well, why are you going to a shelter to see a doctor? Like, are you homeless? Is that why you have worms? Because maybe you're not in a sanitary condition. Like, this is weird stuff, and it's some white guy that you would never associate the two and like see how one would relate to the other, what kind of work that they'd be doing together. There's some guy, it sounds like he's in Germany, and you got this Trinidadian woman living in America, and it just doesn't go. Then I heard one interview where she was talking about she worked in the UN, and something about them watching her pee, and they were like stalking her and stuff like that, and she claimed to invent the Kindle and the iPod or the iPad, one of the two. And she was talking about like back in 2001 or maybe 1996 or something around them sort of times, when people had the Walkman and they had the batteries, but now she had the whole idea, and they stole it from her, and they was doing this, that, and the other to her, and they won't pay her and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I'm not here. I didn't hear any proof. I didn't see any proof. I didn't hear any proof. Where I can go and look this up, nothing. And I haven't seen any YouTube video where she sat there with designs of whatever tablet that she drew up and that she actually had the idea for. There's no copyright. I even checked actually the list of copyright or patent or however it's worded in America, and couldn't find anything under the name that she uses. So I mean, it doesn't make sense when you look into things. Same thing with that reparation scam. Yeah, I mean that was just that was so easy to break down, the reparation scam, because we did that on a live stream. So easy to break down. You've got them taking a picture with a homeless guy. You can see this guy is clearly homeless. He's got on a tie with a vest and a blazer with running shoes and slacks, looking disheveled. I mean, it's crazy. And you've got all these people running around on YouTube, trying to convince you, trying to get information out of you that maybe they can sell your information. I don't know, or they want something from you, whether it's money or details that they can capitalize off of and possibly put you in jeopardy. And your reason for following behind them is they're black. Nothing else. We need to trust black people. Well, you know what? If we really want to look down, if we really want to look at it in a whole, we should trust black people way. Even though the concept of black people didn't exist and the concept of Africans didn't exist, we are partially responsible for why we're in the situation that we're in now. If you really want to look at it historically, with accuracy, we are part of the reason why we ended up in the situation that we're in. So you can't just trust everyone because they look like you. Skin folk ain't always kinfolk. You can't always trust people. And this is what happens when you play on this whole, we must trust each other. You get charlatans and fakes and frauds that come among people and deceive people and steal from people. And then what? When you're left high and dry with no money in your pocket, then what? Are them same people that talk all this brother and sister stuff, all this we're black together stuff, all this hotep crap? Are they coming to help you when you're in your time of need? No. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go to your white bank or whoever else and say, listen, I need a loan or I need an overdraft, and they're gonna have your back over these same charlatans who are gonna give you all the feel good brother and sister talk. We was queens and all this talk. I don't really know what else to say. It's like basic stuff, and I feel bad because it's like, okay, you see these like grown. Some of these people are like adults. I'm not that old. I'm 22 this Sunday, and it kind of scares me to think that there are people that are older that just don't seem to see it. Like I don't get it. What is there not to see? Can't you just you've lived on this earth for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. Some of these people are old as well. Some of them, you've seen them 60 years old talking this crap, and you don't see it. You don't ever think to ask a question. Yeah, the WTF on every title. And it's not even that deep. It's not even that deep. I mean, let's have a look. WTF. Let's see if that brings up anything. So you got WTF, plane intercepted in Chad with 100 kidnapped kids being trafficked to France in 2007. Then you've got Chinese man with coronavirus bribes is waiting to Kenya. Like, everything is WTF, WTF, WTF. That does annoy me, because then when you go to it, it's not even that wow. Like, it's not even that serious. But everything is clickbait. She just wants you to click it. Same thing with the meteorite. You click on this thing. There's no proof that a meteorite hit Nigeria, and then she uploads the video, then she just takes it down, and it's been 3 or 4 weeks, and it hasn't been re-uploaded, which obviously means that this isn't true, or it insinuates that it's not true. So why not take down the other video talking about it? Yeah, we was kings and all this kind of stuff, all them sorts of people. I mean, even that's all self-esteem boosting. That's just for people with low self-esteem that don't think highly of themselves, that need to have something to make them feel better. When in reality, if everyone was kings and queens, who are they? Who are their subjects? You can't be a king and queen with no subjects. You're just two people. In reality, I don't know if it's maybe a majority, but a certain amount of our ancestors were, tried under whatever crime that they either did commit or were said to commit, and were found guilty. and were punished to enslavement. That's just what it is. Not all of this. We was all kings and queens, and we was in Egypt and this, that, and the other. And Egypt is a whole nother thing. I've never been a proponent of talking about Egypt because to me it's like, listen, last time I checked, my ancestry lies in West Africa. Last time I checked, I have no personally. I just okay. It's a part of Africa. Cool. Maybe we was there thousands of years ago, but to me, it's not even that relevant. But again, it's all this fantasy, all this fantastic stuff that you just have to go off and you have to believe and you have to try and put the pieces together. Not to say that you can actually speak the language or that you can find it in, or maybe you can. I don't know. I'm not a linguist, but I'm yet to run into, and I've asked West Africans, can you make the link to this part of Africa? And they tell me, no, not really, not really. It's all West Africa. So that this whole Egypt and yeah, sensationalism, feel good talk, rhetoric. It's for people that just don't have the self esteem, and it's sad that people don't have the self esteem. But it's up to you. It is up to you. Don't look at me like I'm crazy because I refuse to believe everything that you tell me because you're black. Or if I see something or if I agree with something from someone that isn't black, that means that my mind is elsewhere or I'm easy to trick or you know this I made oh it's this I saw this we made a music video depicting Egypt and this queen. Well, yeah. What I find as well in this whole thing is a lot of these people will talk all this Africa stuff and just deliberately skip West Africa as if that is not where your ancestors came from. They will go to Egypt, they will go to Ethiopia, and I'm not saying that there's anything necessarily wrong with that in the sense, but if you're always talking about you want to reconnect to your roots, why are you skipping them and going to somewhere where you most likely didn't come from? I'm willing to, you know, bet my arm that no one was coming all the way from Egypt to the Americas during the transatlantic slave trade. I'm not buying it. I'm really not buying it. But then the whole idea of this whole African fantasy appropriation. That's for Kane, one of them ones media. That's his term. You know, this whole fantasy that people have of Africa. It's just like, why? Where does this come from? Why don't you just look into what things are? Maybe you'll see things that you don't like, and that's just life. Certain things you're going to agree with, and certain things you're not going to agree with. Some things you might think are maybe primitive or backwards or whatever that you're just not going to like. But things are what they are. Stop trying to glorify and fantasize Africa into something that it's not. It's not like you're just going to go to Africa and all your problems are going to be wiped away and solved. No, no, no. No, no, no. You wearing some made in China Egyptian headdress isn't going to change the world. It's not going to make you any more Egyptian than you're already not. It's not going to mean that the Arabs are just going to say, yeah, 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 these are your pyramids here, you take it, you take it. It's not going to make you be able to read the walls for a dead language. Be who you are. But a lot of you guys well, it's not maybe not you guys in the chat, but a lot of these people are just definitely scared of West Africa. I mean, I've heard stuff, you argue with certain groups and they just talk as if, like how the white people say, oh, backwards savages, they sold you and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's it. There's nothing wrong with being from West Africa. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Okay, you might not know exactly what tribe you come from. That doesn't mean that you run over to Northeast Africa and start bowing down to a pyramid because you don't know where exactly you come from. Exactly. The civilizations of Benin are a perfect example of greatness in West Africa. I mean, at the time of the transatlantic slave trade, we were coming out of a period where there was a lot of war going on and kingdoms and stuff were falling down, but there was stuff that was there. There was kingdoms that were there. And there was a transition period and a power vacuum, I think, and there was just so much confusion that was going on that Europeans were able to come in and manipulate the situation between the tribes. So it's not to say that we were just sitting there, dancing around fire, being savages and eating each other, which isn't the case. But even these hoteps will have you believing that this is what we were doing. There's literally nothing wrong with being from West Africa. And then, now today we can finally see, the people that we had to leave behind from the ships that, got left in West Africa and were enslaved in West Africa, because it's not like people weren't enslaved in West Africa. And we can't seem to get along, it seems. Anyway, this one doesn't like this one, and this one doesn't like that one, and that one doesn't like that one, over silly stuff. But it's my brother when it's convenient. But other than that, nah, I'm this, I'm that. Kemet, Egypt, or you've got your crazy he fools. I just can't. I really don't have the energy to tirade. I have the energy to tirade, but I hope my point has come across. It hasn't been too tedious to listen to. There is nothing wrong with being West African, and there's nothing wrong with critically thinking about stuff and questioning. And what you can do is when you ask someone a question, just judge their reaction. Look at them, and if they can't answer your question in just a normal explaining manner, and just explain to you, if they can't show you anything sub what's the word, substantial, take your research elsewhere. You haven't got to believe that person. If they get defensive, 9 times out of 10 they can't back up what they say, and it's just hearsay rhetoric, pulled out of their what. And I've done it before. I've asked people questions, and when you ask them a question, and it's not that you're asking them in an aggressive manner, you're trying to be combative or confrontational, but they get quiet, and you can kind of hear the tone change. To me, that says, okay, you don't know what you're talking about, and you don't like to be questioned, which says that this is more of a doctrine than anything factual. Yeah, there you go. West Africa is beautiful, and there is work that needs to be done. People need to get it out of their heads that you're just gonna go to Africa and everything's gonna be great. And that's another thing that Mumbi is pushing. This whole, oh, we need to all just go back to Africa. It doesn't work like that. You get in. Let's say, for example, that she says the whole of the diaspora or the majority is gonna come back. Okay, that doesn't improve anything. People need to know what they're doing and what needs to be done, and you need the right people to do it. So having people in numbers isn't going to do anything. You fantasizing about what things were like 400 years ago, 400 to 500 years ago, it's not going to do anything. If you think that moving back to Africa means you're going to live like Kunta Kinte pre, you know, getting taken in roots, you're sadly mistaken. It's not going to work like that. If you want to live rural, you can do it, but there's still stuff that needs to be done. Life is not going to be perfect and easy like it was in roots. Seriously. There's nothing wrong with being West African. There's nothing wrong with being East African. There's nothing wrong with being South African. There's nothing wrong with being North African if you're an actual North African and not an Arab. Because them people there are Arabs. There's nothing wrong with it. Oh, and Central Africans as well. I don't want to forget them. There's nothing wrong with it. Just be who you are. You're not from Egypt. You're it's extremely likely that you're gonna be from Ethiopia, because you've got your Ethiopia fantasizers as well, the Rastafarians and whatnot. Well, I'm just going to use today's countries as an example: Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, Gambia, Congo, Angola, Gabon, Togo, Benin. I mean Mali. It's just, into the interior is what it is. Check out New Black Knowledge MBK's channel as well if you want to see about West African history and the more raw and factual breakdown of West African history, because they do a great job of telling you it is what it is. I mean, I was listening to a stream maybe a week or two ago, and Truth Story and Danny was giving a breakdown of what it was like, with Queen Nzinga and the Congo Empire, and how you had chiefs that were out for themselves. Yeah, Guinea. Sorry, I forgot about Guinea. Um, yeah, chiefs that were out for themselves, not selling their own people, but selling, other tribes of people. It's not like people were just selling off their aunts and uncles, but they kept it real and said, yeah, you had tribes that were fighting with other tribes and selling off prisoners of war. It just is what it is. Let's not fantasize and be like Queen Nzinga was this great woman and she dealt in slavery as well. It just is what it is. It's what was going on at the time, and it's not to say that it was right, because obviously it wasn't right, and unfortunately our ancestors were casualties of that. But it is what it is, and we need to get out of the fantasy. Hold on, let me link their channel. Hang on. I enjoy their channel a lot. And you can get some great information on African American history as well. So what sometimes you'll get like a presentation, or you can get like snippets of a presentation as well, which I find really good. I think there was a Black History sort of like lessons that were going on. I'm not sure what's going on with that, because again, I kind of stepped away from YouTube a while ago. Yeah, Guinea, Burkina Faso, you have all of these countries that we were coming from. Nothing wrong with that. They had civilizations. There's a journal, and I'll link this journal. Hold on, where you can actually see um from I think this guy was Scottish. You can see his perspective of his travels in West Africa, and I remember some parts of the journal talking about these people were clean, well dressed, friendly, live in society. It's not like there were these the stereotype of backward savage people that were running around naked, eating weird. Let me get the link. Just give me a second. I didn't even think to. I didn't think I was going to go into this, but here we go. So it's called The Journal of a Mission into the Interior of Africa in the year 1805 by Mungo Park. So this link should take you to the whole journal, and you can have a read for yourself as well and do your own research on that. Now, if people can't give you direct sources, and unfortunately I lost a lot of my history records on my old phone. I just didn't trust the cloud, and like backing up stuff. So I've lost a few hundred files of stuff that I took at the National Archives, of all stuff pertaining to the age of exploitation and slavery. But if people can't provide you with stuff, just question them, and then you sit there and think for yourself: can I really trust what this person says, or let me go out and do my own research so I can find the proof and I can see it for myself? That's what you have to do. But definitely check out New Black Knowledge. I enjoy their channel. It's a great channel. And these guys, I can definitely verify, do take time out to actually study and sit there and critically question things. And yeah, it's thorough research. I can't go against it. I've seen it for myself personally. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. think that is pretty much it. But I appreciate everyone coming in and listening. Cave Crusher, Michael, Joseph. And I think I saw. Oh, Greta Farley. I think it was someone else as well. Just make sure I'm not missing anyone else out. Yeah, I think that's everybody. But yeah, no, I appreciate everyone listening and definitely do your own research. Don't believe everything that someone tells you. Critical thinking and yeah, just watch out for these charlatans and all these scammers. Come back onto maybe I'll come back onto YouTube a little bit more. I don't know. It depends on how I'm feeling really. Yeah. All right, have a good evening.